Over New Guinea, big United States Army transport planes fly troops by the hundreds across the Owen Stanley Mountains for the final Allied assault upon Jap bases on this strategic island in the South Pacific. Native tribesmen enthusiastically welcome the soldiers who have come thousands of miles across the sea to drive the invader from their land. For weeks, American and Australian soldiers and Marines pressed forward through jungle country, relentlessly driving the Japs back into the sea. Stopping only to reform their lines, to coordinate their plan of attack, they rest where they can. Ammunition always ready. A captured machine gun now turned against the enemy. The American success against the Jap in New Guinea, a saga of courage and bravery in the face of incredible odds. Cuba's president arrives in Washington. A military guard of honor salutes the one-time Army sergeant who now holds his country's highest office. Fulgencio Batista, welcome to the capital. President Roosevelt waits to greet him. Staunch exponent of America's good neighbor policy, President Batista was one of the first to follow the United States in war upon the Axis. He meets Vice President Wallace and the cabinet, and he's off to inspect United States war plants. These are men trained to sail America's fast-growing merchant marine, graduates of the greatest school of its kind in the world. "10,000 new able seamen, ready to help the United States Army and Navy deliver the goods to United Nations. First enlistments in a training program that calls for 30,000 United States merchant sailormen every year. On a modest farm in Midwestern United States, the Harrington family is helping America win this war. In addition to farm chores, they've turned their house into a factory, making machine tools for armament plants. Father and mother working side by side. Their sons, even their grandchildren are helping, producing tools needed for large plants. This farm family's inventive genius is typical of Americans from coast to coast. High in the mountain ranges along the Pacific, a girl owns and operates one of the busiest chrome mines in the country. Chrome, an essential metal formerly imported from the Philippines, is needed for war production. Running the mine herself, this typical young American woman is producing some 20 tons of precious metal every day. Again, this is America, all out for war. In Philadelphia, Seaman Norma Saul comes home, the idol of the neighborhood. When Norman's aunt told officials he was only 14 years old, Norman was sent home, his pay in war bonds, and told to go back to school. His patriotism is appreciated, but 14 is too young for the United States Navy. And here's another, a Marine, in the service a year before they found he was only 13 years old. Yes, they're sending him home to grow up too. 6 feet 1, 173 pounds, every inch a typical boy. With fighting spirit like this, America can't lose. United States artillerymen roll out ammunition for the huge disappearing guns that are a part of America's elaborate coastal defense system. The charge is rammed home, and from the fire control tower, keen eyes spot the target. America speaks. newest phase of the British Eighth Army's victory in Libya. General Montgomery, fighting son of an Irish churchman, directing the campaign that is hurling Marshal Rommel and his Nazi Afrika Korps back across the desert in utter collapse. Past wrecked planes, blasted from the ground and from the air. 70% of the enemy's mechanized equipment smashed in its tracks. Through mud and muck, the longest sustained advance in military history. Dirty and begrimed, Nazi General Wilhelm von Thoma, Rommel's second in command, is captured by a British hussar. Arriving at General Montgomery's headquarters, the prisoner is ordered flown to England. Minesweepers, the engineers, are the real heroes. Using magnetic detectors, they go ahead of the tanks, clearing the desert of German-planted minefields. The magnets sound a buzzer when they detect mines hidden in the sand. Now, infantry to the attack. So swift is the advance that as these pictures are issued, news comes that Rommel's army has been split. Half his force is trapped. Pressing ever westward through the smoke of battle, the Allied pincers close on Rommel as he races to join his shattered force with the Nazi army in Tunisia. Rear guards surrender one by one. 8 entire Italian divisions have been knocked out. 4 of Germany's famed Afrika Korps divisions are done for. Down the road, named for Italy's late Marshal Balbo, a procession of trucks loaded with captives streams to the rear. 300,000 prisoners taken by the British. Their days of fighting over. At El Agheila, where Rommel was expected to make a desperate stand, British fighting men see the tide of war turn for the United Nations as the Union Jack flies over Libya.